It's the 15th of March, 2011. A series of protests sweeping the Arab world reach Syria. The government cracks down. Syrians hear that a dozen boys and teenagers are detained and being tortured. One dies. Protests ramp up and so does the crackdown. Chaos ensues. In July, troops defect from Syria's military, forming the Free Syrian Army. Their calls to topple President Bashar al-Assad attract international attention. Fighters from the region move into Syria. By 2012, the country is in the midst of a civil war. The Kurds announce a break from Syria and take up arms. August 2013, the first alleged use of chemical weapons in the town of Ghouta. The UN documents the attack but doesn't assign blame. Many countries do, though, including the United States, which accuses President Assad. U.S. President Barack Obama threatens airstrikes but ultimately backs down, and Russia enters the fray. So does Iran. It sends more military power to President Assad. Gulf states follow, with Turkey and then Jordan supporting the rebels. In April, President Obama orders the CIA to train and support some rebels. The civil war has turned into a proxy war. February 2014, an al-Qaeda affiliate breaks away from the terrorist group. It calls itself the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, or ISIL. Its target is not Assad, but rather other rebels and the Kurds. At the same time, the U.S. begins fighting ISIL, taking the focus off Assad, and Turkey is now targeting the Kurds. September 2015, Russia scales up its involvement. Its airstrikes largely hit rebel groups, some of whom are supported by the U.S. Fast forward to today. Assad's forces have made significant gains, retaking the northern city of Aleppo after a years-long siege. But the countries involved for years are still there. The death toll is in the hundreds of thousands. Millions have been forced to flee their homes with no real hope of ever going back. And Assad seems to be more entrenched in power now than at any point since the beginning of the war. Jim Spellman, CGTN.